When my dad bought me a drum set, my mom was like, hey, you better figure out how to build a soundproof room or there's going to be trouble. So if that's your situation, stick around to find out how to build one.
Okay, the first thing I did here was frame up some new walls inside existing basement walls. Now, if you don't need to frame up any new walls, you can just put the soundproofing panels over top of existing drywall and then add new drywall on top of them, but you would need to extend the electrical outlets first. Since this is a new build for me, I'm running all new electrical, and that way I can set the outlets at the depth that I need. And since I have access to the electrical boxes, I'm going to wrap them in 3M putty pads, which will help block any sound trying to travel through them. The biggest thing about soundproofing rooms is making sure you cover all the areas where sound can escape. When I installed these lighting outlets for my sconces, I used a 3/4 inch spacer that will allow me to install the 3/4 inch sound barrier panels, and that way the outlet will remain flush for the drywall. For the insulation, I'm just using regular fiberglass. You can use any other type of sound dampening insulation, but really all you're trying to do here is stop the sound waves from carrying through between the studs. By spending more money on the other type of insulation, it won't make much of a difference. The sound dampening comes from the soundproofing panel we're about to install, not from the actual insulation. There are various types of sound panels, but I'm using Sonopan, which I found to work quite well. I like to install these panels vertically and then attach my drywall horizontally so that the joints don't overlap. You can attach the panels with just regular drywall screws. I usually set the screws about 18 inches apart. And then fill in any gaps with soundproof latex caulking. Also use the caulking to fill in any gaps around the electrical outlets. Once all the panels are installed and the gaps are eliminated, you're ready to start installing drywall. Since I was working alone, I used a panel lift to install both the Sonopan and then the drywall on the ceiling. Before installing the drywall, make a mark where the studs are to make your life easier when you're putting in your screws. Here, I am just measuring up for the electrical outlets that I'll need to cut out of the drywall. The drywall thickness is 5/8. This is slightly thicker drywall than normal, but it will block the sound a bit better. If you really want to block more sound, you can add a second layer of 5/8 drywall. And of course, you'll need longer screws to get through both the drywall and the Sonopan to reach your stud. 2 inches will do it. Make sure your first piece of drywall is leveled up and then go ahead and screw everything in. I like to use a 1/4 inch shim on the floor just to give a bit of space to play with. After that, it's just a matter of taping and mudding your drywall, but that's another video. Once the room was completed, I added some sound absorption panels that I bought off Amazon and attached with a hot glue gun. All in all, I wouldn't say the room is 100% soundproof. I could add another layer of 5/8 drywall around the room, but I'm happy with the amount of sound dampening this setup has achieved. The only thing left to do now is to make sure that any doors you have are solid core, and weather stripping is installed to block any sound from escaping.
Well, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And now, without further ado, a little AC/DC.